Well, before we talk about our game, let's throw out some congratulations to the Bradenton club. No hitter. Just found out about that. That's why I wanted to leave early so I could check the box score. That's really cool. You know, anytime you do that, that's awesome. So congratulations to that group. That's tremendous. In terms of our game, guys battled their butts off, man. Came back against a good team. You know, obviously I didn't see the end of it, but they really did a nice job. I mean, being down, continuing to come back. Our bullpen was outstanding again. And kudos to them. Donnie really managed well.
Schulte, what is it like to watch a walk-off homer from the clubhouse there?
Well, everything's delayed. So the security guys out front had it first. And, you know, so it was exciting. You know, we don't have the actual game inside. We have a high home and we have a delay. So the security guys kind of let me know. But, you know, credit to our guys, man. They continued to fight and battle, and it was awesome.
Schulte, Stallings is slugging better than he has before in a full season. What do you think is working for him to get that power up so much? I mean, it's a good 50 points ahead of where he's been usually.
I think he's taking really aggressive swings all the time. You know, where at times I think before that it was just contact. Now he's going up there, you know, trying to impact the baseball.
Derek, I know you said that you weren't obviously involved in the conversation where he had his what he called his come to Jesus moment with Rick a little while back in Minnesota, but have you noticed differences as a former hitting coach and just what he's been able to do in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think like going to Jake's question, I think he's trying to do damage. He's trying to impact the baseball in every swing, and I think we're seeing the results of it. And you know, like I said, I don't know what happened in that conversation or what it was, but you know, give credit to Rick and to Stalls and to Christian for doing that. But he definitely looks like he's taking really good aggressive swings. I've yet to see, you know, the homer or where it went, but you know, I will watch the replay of that.
Schulte, I think I may know the answer, but I'd like to hear it from you. What was the disagreement there that eventually got you kicked out? What didn't you agree with, and you know, what was the conversation, I guess, there?
I didn't agree with the location of the pitches, and he said there were strikes, and I didn't think so, and so I got to watch inside for the rest of the game.
I think we may have lost your mic feed. I'm not sure if there's another one nearby, but we can't hear anything you're saying.
No, you don't know.
Can you hear this one?
Yes.
Yes.
Backup mic. Yeah, Jimmy T's on top of everything. We got backup mic. What was your question? Just the zone. I disagreed with the location, and he thought it was a strike, and you know, evidently he didn't like what I had to say about it, and so I got to watch the rest of it inside.
Schulte, I know a bunch of stuff happened since Tyler Anderson left the game, but how much do you sort of have to respect or like just his contributions, not having his best stuff, but still kind of kept things competitive for the first 5 innings?
Yeah, the fact that he gave us 5 innings, Jay, I mean, that point in of itself did not have his best stuff. We've seen him have really good stuff, and he grinded through it against essentially all right-handed lineup. You know, we've seen him be really sharp with his fastball. He was not sharp with his fastball. And, you know, we didn't help him early. We had a miscommunication on the pop-up that not only cost him 2 runs, but also cost him about 12 pitches. But I think you see the savviness of him being a veteran and being a grinder, the fact that he was able to get us through 5, and he did an outstanding job and it kept us in the ballgame. And our guys battled back. So, you know, there's a lot to be said about that start, because that start for a younger, inexperienced guy can turn into a 3-inning start. And then we're a little taxed in our bullpen anyway. But the fact that he gave us the extra 2 and continued to grind, kudos to him.
That pop-up, there's a similar play in the Cincinnati series too. I know it varies based on, you know, the specific location around the mound, but like what has to happen there? Is it the corner infielder, somebody's just got to step up and call it? Like what, in your mind, what has to happen there?
Yeah, one of the 2 corner guys has got to call it. And I think after, you know, reflection or conversation afterwards, everybody kind of stood and watched. And, you know, in the next one, we had one similar 2 innings later, and Will did a much better job. He came and charged it hard and made a play on it. And I think we made an assumption that everybody else was going to catch it, and we can't assume that. We have to come and attack the ball until it's caught.
One more for me, similar to the Anderson question. With Shreve, he came in. Obviously, Keller had a little bit of issues there in I think it was the 7th inning, right? Got 2 guys on. Shreve came in, walks the first guy, but slams the door. I mean, how big was that, especially in hindsight, knowing what happened, in the bottom of that inning?
I mean, that was huge. But I mean, bases loaded, 1 out. Come in, was able to execute a pitch. Gonzo makes a really heads up play, steps on the bag. With a fast runner, doesn't try to complete the double play, and then we're able to run the rundown and do a nice job. But probably the 2 biggest outs of the game, because of the fact that it keeps us at 6-2. We're able to come back and put up the 4 spot. Unbelievable job by Chase.
Derek, wanted to ask about Kyle Keller, obviously team debut. I'm sure you haven't gotten to see much of him. What were your impressions of him from tonight?
It's good stuff. I mean, really good stuff. And actually, when I went to the mound and took him out, I was talking to our infielders about him, and that was their same comment. A little bit of command issue, but that can be expected first time out. But 95, 96 with power breaking ball, that's good stuff. And I think we'll have a plan moving forward of how to execute pitches with him.
It's not often you guys have 2 players thrown out at the plate and still win a game, but what did that say to your team maybe about the aggressiveness that you were asking from them, and maybe just kind of the kind of a little bit of a daring way you played tonight?
Yeah, I think we have to play aggressive. And, I think you guys have seen it. We've run more, we've hit and run more. We have to do those things. And the one thing that happens there is if you run the bases hard, which our guys do, you give yourself an opportunity to do things. And we functionally, have to do those things. And a good defensive team made 2 really good defensive plays to get outs, but we have to do those things. Thanks, guys.
We're good to go for Jacob.
Jacob, if you can, do you feel like you've taken the crown of like walk-off king from Kevin Newman at this point? Have you discussed that at all, or?
No, we have not discussed it. And no, probably not. I think he has to still have more than me. So he could keep that crown because he's had some big ones. So I'll let him keep it.
In all honesty, though, with the amount of fight that the whole team kind of showed tonight, to polish it off there, what were kind of your emotions like running around the bases, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it was a crazy game. Obviously coming off that big win last night. I think that's probably more pumped up than I usually get, more emotional than I usually get. It was just that kind of game, and a lot of big pitches by our pitchers and big swings by our guys. So yeah.
Jake, last year you had a walk-off homer. I think it was against the Cubs, but there was nobody here. How much different was it to do it with fans in the stands and everything?
I guess I didn't think about that, but maybe that added to the emotion. Hard to say, but I was definitely more pumped up this time. So maybe that went into it.
Yeah, could you take us through the 7th inning at bat too? I know he threw you consecutive sliders. You sort of had to go down and get that one. Just what happened there?
Yeah, I've come up with some in some spots to drive runners in a lot with 2 outs lately, and haven't gotten the job done for the most part. So I was just really trying to have a good at bat, and he obviously has really good stuff, and I was just trying to get ready on time and hopefully react to a strike, and snuck it down the third base line. So it was good at bat, big at bat.
Jake, we talked to you a little bit ago about, I think you mentioned like a come to Jesus moment after the 0 for 19, a talk with Rick. You were getting back to some of your cues. I forget what word you used, but like what were those? What are your cues whenever you're hitting the ball and impacting the ball the way you want to?
Well, if I'm being honest, a lot of our talk was on the mental side, just kind of grounding. Yeah, I don't know the best way of saying it, but just kind of getting my mind right. And but from a physical standpoint, just my posture when I get ready to hit, and I kind of have a sink into my load, so sinking the right way and just kind of getting lined up the right way. It's probably easier to show you than try to explain it. But we made one small adjustment that I haven't done before, and just with my back foot, and I feel like that's helped me a lot since that day. So it's just positioning and doing what I can to get ready in the best position and on time.
Jake, I believe you're something along the lines of like 17 for 47 at PNC this year. Just how comfortable you're hitting in your own park, and what does it mean to sort of get the hang of this place the way you have?
Honestly, I kind of attribute it to I get to be home with my family. It's just they're not allowed to travel yet, and so I think I'm just kind of in a better mood when we're here and play baseball and hockey with my son all morning before I come to the field. And I mean, if I'm being honest, that's kind of what I attribute it to, just being around them, and hopefully I can start playing a little better on the road. But yeah, no, it's good to be home.
Jake, you guys had runners thrown out at the plate in both I think it was the 5th and the 9th. How are you able to bounce back from that? Those could be like rally killers, and yet you guys, scored 2 runs in that inning and then scored 4 more in the 7th, and then you ended up having the heroics in the 9th.
I think it's just guys continued to have quality at bats. Yeah, I mean, that relay that they made in the 9th inning was, Talkman barehanded the ball and threw a strike, and Crawford just threw a missile to home. So, it's just sometimes the other team makes plays, and you can't control it, but you just gotta move on to the next play. And I thought our guys did a really good job of having quality at bats after those plays, and put us in a position to win the game.
Jacob, that 7th inning, we talked before about like how this team kind of has to grind out runs a lot of times. There's not a ton of like huge home run hitters on this team. It was the way that went kind of emblematic of that. It's like, wild pitches, hit by pitches, walks, singles, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's typically how we're going to have to do it, especially with Colin and Key Bryan out, 2 of our best hitters. And, I feel like even though we haven't been scoring runs, I kind of alluded to it earlier, we've been having pretty good at bats. We just haven't been, and myself included, we haven't been hitting the runs in. So, obviously we need to do a better job of that, but it's good that tonight we obviously did do a good job. So, but yeah, I think tonight is pretty indicative of how we need and are going to score runs, especially without those guys.
How aware are you of being called the cheetah?
By you mean?
Me? Anybody? The Pirates Twitter account?
I am aware of it.
Thoughts on it?
Robella loves to let me know about it as well.
Thoughts on it or no?
It must mean I'm faster than Colin Moran, so I'm good with it.
All right, that's all good.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, everybody. Tyler Anderson is here. Questions for Tyler?
Tyler, you went back to the off-speed heavy approach there against a lot of righties. Obviously, it's not always the same, game plan, but how has that sort of approach worked for you with, like we mentioned, when you have to face a lot of right-handers?
I think tonight it was just more of a thing that just command was not quite as crisp as normal. So we were just trying to figure out what pitches we could throw for strikes and whatever that was at the time.
Tyler, when you're struggling with command, can you also kind of I don't know, set up different targets or anything, or is it mainly for you about pitch selection and what's working that night? Sometimes you have to resort to that.
Usually it's, you know, you want to keep throwing it till you get a better feel for it. But, you know, but then again, you also got to compete too. You got to try to stay in the zone. And we were falling behind a lot of counts. So I was falling behind a lot of counts. So just trying to figure out a way to get back in counts.
To be able to kind of battle back and fight through 5 innings there, you know, like obviously the first one didn't go how you wanted, and they tagged you for another homer later on, or I guess that one was a number, but you know what I'm saying. To be able to fight through, I guess, what does that take in terms of mindset to be able to do that?
You know, it's just you got to go out there and stay competing and stay on there. And you know, if you don't go out there, it can get out of hand really quick. So just stay out there and compete the whole time and basically give everything you got. Just trying to battle and figure out a way to get through as many as you can.
You obviously, you know, it didn't come back to bite you guys because of the ending, obviously, but you had a front row seat to that kind of pop up that dropped there in the infield. What happened from your perspective? You know, what should happen there from your perspective, I guess?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm usually that gets caught. You know, you hope that gets caught, doesn't get caught, and unfortunately, you go with 2-run homer afterwards. Just one of those things that wasn't really sure who wanted it, and then just kind of drops. You know.
Anything else for Tyler?
Yeah, I guess I'll just wrap up by saying, like, you know, to see Stallings obviously get that moment there at the end, you know, how good do you feel for him? Obviously, you know, close bond between catcher and pitcher there.
Awesome, man. So, you know, Stalls is the man. He's somebody who, you know, is always prepared, always working, always ready whenever his opportunity comes up, whether it's hitting or defensively, whatever, catching. He's always in there, always ready to go. And in that 7th inning, he had an awesome at bat, and then ends up getting that double down the line for 2 RBIs to tie the game, and then comes up again in the 9th, and it's a walk-off homer, and like just unfazed, awesome at bats, great at bats, just a great day. I'm really pumped for Stalls and for everybody. That's a good win all the way around.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler.